This is the third video in the series about iron overload and how dangerous it is to us. In this video I want to talk about the history of iron as a food additive, and this is called fortification. In particular I want to say why it is so dangerous for us all, and in particular for hemochromatosis sufferers. I also want to start a campaign to get iron removed as a food additive, as it seems to be on the increase. And note, this was done some 20 years ago in Denmark, but it seems to be the only country that has had a campaign against iron and other additives. Now, the reason iron was added to food was because of anemia, and anemia is quite a serious condition that affects more than 10% of the population, and people have done it out of the fear that this can easily be solved. But the reality is people do not really die from anemia, whereas people do actually die from iron overload. So the iron overload should, in my opinion, be taken just as seriously. So in this particular article from Healthline, it asks the question, are fortified and enriched foods really healthy? Now, people are aware of the issues of iron overload from fortification in foods, and this particular article in Healthline actually examines the issue. Obviously, vitamins and minerals can help people, but also there is real concern that the amounts being consumed, and because they are being consumed without checking, as with pills, you actually know how many pills you take. If you add it to food, you're actually not sure how much of the mineral, in this particular case iron, you've consumed. Now, as I said, in 1987 Denmark actually banned the use of iron in Kellogg's cornflakes, and of course Kellogg's didn't like this particularly. A statement here from Chris Verman, Director of Corporate Affairs for Kellogg's in Europe, said, "Most of us are a bit incredulous." He said that it's quite clear from nutritionists that diets around the globe are deficient in minerals and vitamins and minerals. We are quite worried about Danish authorities challenging this. We don't believe there is any danger at all. There is every reason for people to have these. Well, this is quite annoying to me, because there clearly is a danger for certainly hemochromatosis sufferers, of which 1 in 200 people in Denmark and in Northern Europe, and descendants from those Northern Europeans, are suffering. So this is quite incredulous that Kellogg's could make these sort of statements, and it's quite misinforming. Also, Netherlands themselves tried to ban addition of fortified foods, and this was challenged in the European courts. Another additive in Europe is called E172. This is actually just iron oxide, and it's used as a colouring to actually make the food browner or reddish in colour. And in fact, I've seen this added to vegetarian sausages, in which the sausages are made more like a sausage colour. And you'd think that vegetarian sausages would be healthy, but in reality the iron content in the sausages is actually quite dangerous. And in fact, in Germany that particular additive is banned, but in other countries it's not. So it just shows there is not commonality between the views from different scientists from different countries. You can see that E172 is used in all sorts of foods like salmon paste, shrimp paste, meat pastes, cake and desserts, and even soups. Now earlier I singled out Kellogg's as the culprit in adding iron to cereals. Certainly Kellogg's were the first company to do this in the 1940s, but now nearly every manufacturer is also doing this too. And they are doing it because Kellogg's used it to promote the healthy lifestyle aspect of adding vitamins and minerals. The problem is the dangerous aspects of doing so have not been explained in most countries other than in Denmark and the Netherlands. One way round the addition of iron is to eat gluten-free cereals. However, many of the gluten-free cereals still have iron added. So this Nestle Go-Free cornflakes still has unnatural iron added. The only cereal I found in the UK without iron added is this one called Whole Earth Organic Cornflakes, which can be bought from Asda and Waitrose supermarkets. Up to last November I was buying Tesco Free From cornflakes, but on November the 1st they suddenly started adding vitamins and iron. Here is the ingredients before and after that date. I complained to Tesco's on Twitter, but got a very poor answer that I should avoid buying cereals with iron. Since Tesco's do not sell cereals without iron, I take this to mean I should go to Asda or Waitrose instead. I find it strange that something called Free From should then have additives. I can imagine them saying that iron is a natural substance, but pure iron is not natural. It is always man-made. Natural iron is always in another form, and even iron supplements is a salt, e.g. iron citrate. But the reason why they cannot use iron citrate is it is absorbed too quickly and has been known to actually poison children. Simply because it's in food, there is no way of controlling the dose. Let's be clear, the addition of iron to cereals is very unnatural, and it is damaging to the health of at least hemochromatosis sufferers, and I believe is damaging to many more older people too. In fact, Tesco seem to be the worst for adding iron to foods. It's also added to pies, sandwiches, and even dry roasted peanuts. This sort of blatant infection of everyday food in an indiscriminate way is very dangerous and should be stopped. I urge everyone watching this video to complain to Tesco's and the majority of cereal manufacturers, including Kellogg's. I'm very keen to start a campaign to get iron removed as an additive, as it is clearly dangerous. Treatment of anemia should be as a result of prescribed dose from a medical professional via supplements. Blanket indiscriminate dosing of a whole population in an uncontrolled fashion by adding it to food is clearly dangerous and very wrong. Please support this view in the comments. Now let's talk about the link between cancer and anemia. Anemia does not cause cancer, but cancer can cause anemia. Note that the treatment of anemia in cancer patients is not to give them iron, but actually to help them produce red blood cells, because anemia is a shortage of red blood cells, and in many anemic cases it's due to the lack of iron that people need to make more blood cells. People who develop anemia because of chemotherapy are at times given some stimulating agents to actually increase the number of red blood cells. Well, that's it for this video. In the next video I'll explain how iron actually does get into the body by the various scientific processes, and then go on to explain why it is dangerous, and then actually give the evidence of where it does shorten the life of people who have too much iron in the system. See you next time.